he's talking about certain things. What I can say is I can confirm 100% that this exists because over the years that Kat has been in Washington and she's gone through different jobs and looked for better jobs and stuff. There's been times when, she's applying for different jobs, going to interviews and stuff. And I can tell you a few years ago, there was a situation. There's actually two situations that happened. Here's the first. So she's looking for positions that, she would be qualified for, interested in. And she sees a job posting at a local Best Buy store. Okay? Online. So she applies for it. Okay, interview. Come in for the interview at a certain day. She goes to the store for the interview. First of all, no one can even find the manager who's responsible for interviews. Why? Because these stores don't have hiring managers. They just have managers that are expected to perform interviews who aren't trained for it. So they can't even find the guy who's supposed to be doing the interview. But you told me to come to the store at this time for an interview. How is the person who's supposed to be interviewing me not here or ready for it? It doesn't make sense. So she sits around for a very long time, upwards of an hour. Finally, this manager appears who's going to interview her. She gets into the interview, and the first question, all right, that's asked is, so what job did you apply for? Wait, what? You're the interviewing manager. You're supposed to be interviewing me for the position. You're asking me what job I applied for? What am I doing here? So she tells, I applied for this position. Oh, I don't have any jobs in that position open. What? This is not a made-up story. This literally happened to my wife. And she's like, why? I don't understand. It was on the site. I applied for it. Well, I don't know about that, but we don't have that job. If you want, you could maybe apply for this job, and I could interview for that now. And she's like, no. Why would I do that? Why? What are you talking about? So the entire thing was a complete waste of her time. She went home completely deflated, thinking that she was going to get a job interview for a job she wanted, and that's how she got treated. That's the American job market. Like, no exaggeration. There was another job she applied for. It was supposed to be for a position, I want to say it was like at a hotel, and it was supposed to be like front desk. So she applies for this hotel position at the front desk. She goes for the interview, and they say, so just so you know, that's actually not really the job. Okay, the job is you're going to be driving a hotel shuttle back and forth from the airport. What? The job position I applied for was front desk. Well, that's really not it. You will be driving a shuttle. Why am I here? It didn't make any sense. And the way that the interviewer kind of pushed it was, well, yeah, 90% of the time you'll be driving the shuttle, but you may be at the front desk at some points if there's no one to drive around. So, but you're going to be driving the shuttle. But literally the online fucking posting was for front desk. So this is how these employers in the U.S. are now treating jobs. They basically don't care about the employees. All they care about is getting a big well of information from people, right? And then they lie to get your information, and then they try to basically fool you into a job. Like, for example, what if you're desperate for a job, right? And so you applied at the hotel for front desk, you get into the interview, and they say, it's for the shuttle. Well, I'm desperate for a job. I might as well take it. But you didn't want that job. What if you're not even good at fucking driving? Right? Now you take the job. Or the Best Buy job, for example, I believe what it was, she was applying for, like, someone working on the floor, maybe in electronics. And they said, well, no, you're going to be a cell phone specialist and only sell cell phones. Well, she doesn't have interest in that. She doesn't know about cell phones that much. She doesn't care for that. Why would she want to work that job? And by the way, isn't it funny, if the job posting is for one job, but you go in, but the actual opening's for another, why is that? Probably because no one wants that job for good reason. And what's funny is now there's websites you can go to online that talk about certain job positions, people who've had them, and after they leave the position, they go online to talk about that job and what it entails. And you'll see people with horror stories. Yeah, so they say it's a cell phone job, but man, it's high pressure. You got to sell cell phones. If you don't, you get yelled at. It's commission-based, so you don't get a lot of money unless you're constantly selling. They literally tell you to attach things to every sale, and if you don't, basically you get in trouble for it, or you make like no money. So essentially, just lie to the customer and tell the customer they need something that they don't need so that you'll make a sale, a tack on sale. So basically it's junk jobs, right? It's junk jobs where it's just mistreat people, lie to people, just make sales. Who wants those, right? No one. That's why they lie to get you in the door for another position, and then they tell you the other job's the one available. This is what's going on right now in America. Another thing that he mentioned, a lot of the jobs, they look attractive. You apply, you just never hear back. Nothing. Because they're not actually real. They're jobs that maybe once a year they'll need someone new. So they'll, oh, I have fucking all this information from all these years that I've accumulated. And then when it's convenient for me, now I'll draw upon it. And I'll give you another example of that. Again, a few years ago, Kat applying around for jobs and stuff. She gets a phone call. I'm not shitting you. 9 months later from when she applied for a job. Are you interested in it? What are you talking about? I applied 9 months ago. Do you think I sat around and didn't work for 9 months? No, I got another job. Of course I'm not interested in it anymore, stupid. But this is what they do. They're posting up. Because here's how it used to be. It used to be to apply for a job, you had to physically go to the place. You had to meet with the people who worked there. You would take a physical application. You would fill it out. You would put it there physically. That's work, right? For you and for them. So basically, if they said, oh, we're hiring for application, they're not going to lie. They actually are hiring, because why else would they want to have to be collecting paper applications and explaining how to fill it out and shit like that? That's work for them. So now, because everything's online and automated, there's no work for them. They can literally have these job postings up indefinitely and have your information sit in a fucking queue for 2-3 years and never touch it. And then when they need it, now it's convenient. Now I pull it out. And now because everything is automated, there's no hiring managers at the store anymore responsible for the job hiring. Instead, they try to say, oh, by the way, someone applied for the job, so now you have to squeeze in an interview today. What are you talking about? I'm here for 10 hours today, and the 10 hours I'm here, I got this to do, and this to do. Well, too bad. Now just do the interview, too. And by the way, they're coming in at 2 p.m. Be ready. Wait, what? So how am I supposed to do that? That's how it is in American jobs now. These retail jobs, restaurant jobs, hotel chains, they're all like that. There's no professionalism anymore. It's just treat it like everyone gets fucked around and jerked around, including the employees there. Can you imagine how the manager feels? I have to do my normal managerial duties for the day. Oh, by the way, I also have to be a hiring manager today too, even though I have no training for it. What the fuck is that? That's America, folks. That's when you go to the news and the news says, oh, all these jobs were created this month. No, they weren't. The news is lying. These jobs either don't exist or these flaky fuck jobs that no one wants. That's what they're reporting is the new jobs that are being created in our economy. It's bunk. Our country is not any better off than it was just a few years ago. It's bullshit. It's misreporting for political spin. It's really nonsensical that people put this shit to put up with it. But anyway, all right, that's enough of that. Good post. That's actually timely to some stuff that I've seen from personal experience. Let's